And the student, she says, oh yeah, you guys helped me win a scholarship. I said, oh, that's fantastic. She said, yeah, it was for $40,000. I said, excuse me? My name is Danny Rubin, and I'm the founder of Rubin, which is an educational company that helps students with what's called employability skills, helping students learn to communicate professionally for college and career opportunities. So we work within school districts today, some little, some big, around the country, providing resources to teachers so they can help their students learn to write and speak with confidence when they go out and pursue opportunities. I've always been interested in communication skills and writing. It's always been an interest, a hobby to write. My dad was a journalist, wrote a lot, taught me how to write, not writing novels, not writing poetry, writing news style. I was sort of schooled in that by a parent in my house who taught me AP style at 11 years old. That's kind of unusual. And my mom, by trade from her schooling as a social worker, she ended up working with my father in their public relations business over 30 years, still do. But I'm this unique combination, as we all are unique combinations, of a journalist and a social worker. So I went into what my father went into, which was TV journalism. I worked as a reporter. When I was working as a reporter for WTKR, News Channel 3, my territory, my beat was the Peninsula, Newport News, Hampton, Williamsburg, and nothing related to Channel 3, all local news. Oftentimes you cover negative news. I did cover plenty of happy stuff too, and it's an important medium. I'm not disparaging journalism. For me, I felt like it didn't speak to me to go and denigrate neighborhoods, make people scared of each other. It just never felt right. But I walked away and I said, this isn't the work that I thought I was going to get to do, which is more human interest and more positive, and I just let it go. Even though I was really young for this market, on TV, people saw me, people knew me, I let it go because it wasn't in here. So I would cover negative stories in Hampton, right? Today, Hampton City Schools is one of my customers. So I am helping students learn how to write an email, use the phone, write a resume, go on an interview, write a thank you note, all these things. So instead of spending 30 years just covering all the negativity that happens, instead I'm now in the schools, in the curriculum, in the classroom, helping kids learn how to communicate so they can better themselves. Now, isn't that beautiful? I think it is, but I think it was not destiny maybe, or meant to be, that I would just continue to listen to myself and say, I'm gonna do what I know is right. Thankfully, I can support myself and my family doing this business so I can continue to design the world that I want to live in personally every day. And in turn, I can then share that world with other people to help them in their own pursuits. For me, this has been a gradual, organic process where I keep moving closer and closer to the impact I believe I'm supposed to make. Every job I've been to, I have enjoyed these jobs. I worked as a news reporter. I worked at a media research and consulting firm, enjoyed aspects of that. I worked with my family in our public relations business, enjoyed much of that. I don't walk around upset at the world. I just always believe that I am supposed to do something myself to make my own unique impact. And so it was not a single moment in time that was like, that's it, I'm done. It was just this slow grinder of this process that keeps leading me closer and closer, I believe, to exactly what I'm supposed to do, even though it's very hard to see that in the moment many times because I'm just consumed by the work. But when I step back each year, every 2 years, I'm like, oh, well, I am getting somewhere. Because now today, we have some really large school districts around the country that use this material. And to me, that validates where I didn't know I was driving to this point, but the fact that I could take what I learned in journalism and ultimately deliver it to a city as big as Miami, Florida, the third largest school district in America, and have students all over South Florida using these lessons. That's wild, man. It's really like, whoa, okay, so what's next? You know, so it wasn't a single moment, it was an evolution, and I think it just, I keep raising the bar for myself every year, like where can we go next? So the genesis was I wrote a blog called News to Live By, 2012. And I would just look for the career advice, the leadership skills in the headlines, not political, just like what are we learning by this, the way this person gave a speech, their public speaking style, like really not looking left or right, just right down the middle. How can we all benefit from the news of the day? And when I started to share somewhere along the way, I wrote every day for like a year, just all filling up the blog. And then I realized people were Googling email templates. This is way before ChatGPT, all right? And they're like coming to me, organic traffic coming to me for the email templates. And this is when we hear like signal in the noise, right? You got to look at your data. The secret to any startup is there's so many pivot points. So many, you think it's this, but it's actually that, but then it's actually that. Oh, maybe it's actually that. There's no straight line. So I said, where else could I apply these writing guides? Well, I happened to stumble into Virginia Beach City Public Schools, actually, and I learned that there was a soft landing for this type of instruction when I was in high school, it was called VOTEC. Today it's called Career and Technical Education, and it's probably every student in this room has taken a CTE class of some kind through at PA. And so all these classes teaching career skills and occupations, teaching how to communicate through those occupations, there was a real good fit. So then I started to pivot into a business where I incorporated a business, called it Rubin Education. But then it put me on this path to say, wow, maybe I could apply these lessons I've learned in journalism of writing well and speaking well. Maybe I could make a curriculum and try to sell it to schools. So in 2021, I pivoted away from the books and made an online product called Emerge, which is this big library of activities for email skills and phone skills and networking skills and public speaking, lots and lots of things. And that pushed me into this sort of software space. That put me on this path to create what I've ultimately created, which is this learning environment for school districts, which I hope to then extend to other audiences too as time goes on. But the point is, it was not a single moment. It was just an insistence that I continue to work on what I enjoy. And for a long time, it was for no money.
My name is Alexis Kruemcke. I am the Director of Instruction with Rubin. I was a teacher for 6 years. I taught special education. I taught middle school, and then I taught fourth grade. I was a member of Teach for America as well. So I have a background in teaching, and then I went to school for curriculum instruction and school administration. And after teaching for a few years, I kind of just got burnt out in the classroom setting, but I still wanted to be involved in education. So after having my daughter, I decided to leave the classroom, and through a friend, I was introduced to Danny, and I really just liked what he was doing, and reached out to him, sent him my resume, and I started working for him about 3 years ago. When I was in the classroom, I was a teacher, so I was doing a lot of lesson planning. I was creating a lot of curriculum. I taught special education mainly, so working with students with disabilities. So that involves a lot of paperwork, writing a lot of IEPs. Those are individualized education plans. So I had a lot of background with just the classroom aspect of education. And then now with Rubin, I'm more on the curriculum side, so I'm working with teachers. So in the classroom, obviously, I was primarily with students all day, and now with Rubin, I'm helping prepare teachers to use our curriculum with students. So I get to work in more of a teacher support role with Rubin. The biggest thing to me is when the teachers get so excited about us doing check-ins and meeting with them, and when I explain to them that I can help them with the planning and help them kind of get it going in their classrooms. That's what really gets them excited about using it, because a lot of schools will purchase products and purchase curriculum and then again just expect teachers to figure it out, and a lot of times it's not utilized. So I think that anytime teachers get extra support, they're very grateful. And that's my favorite part about it, is getting to work with teachers and helping them do it, because it'll definitely be used, and it's obviously benefiting students if it's being used as well. A lot of times there's not a lot of support given. There's not a lot of curriculum given. It's kind of like you're told what to teach and you kind of have to figure out what to do. And so when I met Danny and started talking to him, it seemed like he really wanted to be a support to teachers. And I liked that, because I felt like a lot of the time I didn't get that support, and that's what burnt me out. So now my role at Rubin a lot of the time is to help with the planning and the incorporation of what we sell, our curriculum, so that the teachers don't have to do that. It's one extra thing off their plate that they don't have to worry about. I think the biggest thing for me was when I did my first training on my own. Our curriculum is very extensive. There's a lot in there. So when I first saw it, I was definitely intimidated and wasn't sure how I was supposed to fit all this in, and kind of knowing where everything is. I was nervous to do my first training alone, but as I got more comfortable with it, it definitely was a confidence booster to kind of be the person providing the information and being the person that people come to for the answers. Which, like I said, initially, like when I was a teacher, I was the one going to these trainings. So I think it's always intimidating when everyone's watching you and you're expected to teach people how to use something, especially when they're responsible for teaching all these students. But definitely getting my first training done and just working with this teacher in the first time was a win for me.
Every December, January, I say, all right, I need to decide what I'm going to do this new year. And I look back at the previous year and I say, what worked and what didn't? I close my eyes and I'm like, the business is talking to me. I say, what is the business saying to me? What is it saying right now? It doesn't matter what anybody else out there thinks or cares. No one even cares anyway. They're all doing their own thing. What is the business saying? It's speaking the truth. Listen to the business. And that's how I've made all of these decisions.
When I met Danny and started talking to him, it seemed like he really wanted to be a support to teachers, and I liked that, because I felt like a lot of the time I didn't get that support, and that's what burnt me out. So now my role at Rubin a lot of the time is to help with the planning and the incorporation of what we sell, our curriculum, so that the teachers don't have to do that. It's one extra thing off their plate that they don't have to worry about.
This work is from my soul, and I'm focused on growing a brand right now, not on investors or valuation. The most difficult part of the journey to this point was making enough revenue to do it full time. That was so hard, because for a good few years, I'm just reinvesting everything. And every year I just broke even and couldn't leave my job. And again, I worked with my family and it was fine. I wasn't like in a nightmarish situation. I could have continued to do it, but I always wanted I had this thing off the side of my desk, this little, I think of a startup as like a baby. And, today my business is probably like a toddler. We started to walk. We're walking, running around a little bit, still falling down some. But to get to the point where I could reasonably do this work full time, support my family, wife and 2 kids, mortgage, all of it, that was hard. And I think that's the trap a lot of people fall into the later in life, is they just get caught up with their expenses and they can't justify starting something new or hanging in there long enough to be able to make enough to leave their job. A lot of people, they view entrepreneurship as like this, oh, imagine if I could just work for myself. It takes some serious commitment, especially to do it without investment. Because I also want to be clear that when I started this, I had no money to do this. I bootstrapped everything. I built my learning management, my learning site on an open source platform that was free to use. I just had like hosting fees for my company website. I had no money to do this, no savings, I had nothing. So it it took a really long time to go from just this little kernel of a thing I was doing into something that would make enough to support me after expenses. So that definitely was the hardest part. Now, I don't know what the next hardest part is, but I'm sure it's coming.
I think one of the main things that I've learned is to be open to feedback and to just listen to the needs of the teachers. We have a curriculum that is constantly changing and we're trying to update it. And just recognizing that we aren't the ones that have all the answers. Like, we come up with great stuff, but we'll meet with teachers sometimes and they will come up with ideas that we never thought of. And it's a fantastic idea. So making sure to communicate with people and listening to other people's ideas really helps grow our curriculum. And it's meeting the specific needs that teachers and students specifically are looking for.
One thing I've learned, and any entrepreneur will tell you, is you just got to make decisions. Got to wear your adult pants and you got to make decisions. You have to decide. I have to decide eventually a left or a right. The work demands it. Decisions must happen. And so I try to take the best educated guesses, instincts, market, what the market's telling me, what customers are telling me, where I feel like people, what are they asking for in the product? What do they, just trying to gather it all up to make a decision. The decision to go from writing a physical book to a digital curriculum, that is a massive pivot.
I would say another huge piece of advice is to ask questions. I'm a big supporter of asking questions. I always have been. I know some people are intimidated by it or they don't want to ask questions to seem silly. I ask all the questions because I'd rather just get clarification. So I know I badgered Danny with a ton of questions when I first started. So just not being afraid to ask for help and to ask for help and to just be open to ideas and adapting every day. Also, every day is not the same. Some days might be, longer than others. Some days you may be working with easier people. Some days it might be more challenging. So just being adaptable as well, I think is important.
I'm always looking to ask people questions about what they've done, what worked for them, let them see under the hood of my products and tell me what they think. They might suggest something profound. In fact, I have a class at ODU right now, an entrepreneurship class that's looking at one of my products as like a asynchronous lesson to give me commercialization ideas. I'm like, you know what? Go right ahead. What do I have to lose there? I have goals I have not achieved. And to get there, I've got to take advice from other people because otherwise I'm gonna sit still. This year in particular, and I said this to my wife the other day, I'm like, I've got to make myself real uncomfortable this year. Just to show you one thing, I'm very proud of this too. This is statistics from our learning platform as of the end of March. 1.5 million activities completed in our platform and almost 3 million minutes spent by students. And we don't even have that many customers yet across the country. It's a slice of what's available in the market, but it's still a huge amount of work going on. And I'm so proud of that because I wasn't there, but I was there because I'm in the platform. I've made videos, my team has made videos, we've made activities, so we're there, but the teachers are teaching it.
Communication is everything. You can know everything in the world, but if you cannot effectively communicate that to a person or persons plural, orally or in writing, and that could be an email, that could be a speech, that could be a presentation, that could be a one-on-one, could be a phone call. It all matters how well you communicate your message to your client, to your family, to your loved one, to a customer. Communication is everything, and it takes so many forms. The other part about communication that's really important is your two ears. You need to listen as much as you need to talk. We have two ears and one mouth, and so when you hear the needs of someone, you need to hear what they're saying and listen, have empathy, and then you can then calculate in your mind or talk about it in your mind what you want to do to respond.
Virginia Beach City Public Schools is dedicated to ensuring that our students are able to be successful in our community after graduation. And in order to be able to be successful, communication is a pillar of our society. We have to be able to communicate successfully with each other, and that includes communicating in a professional manner. I'm excited that my own children who are in middle school and high school are learning these valuable lessons, and then that way when they go into college and beyond, or if they even choose to go into the career field immediately following graduation, they'll be able to communicate with our community in a successful and professional manner. When I saw the Rubin Company, I was extremely ecstatic that this is a product of our schools. Virginia Beach City Public Schools really wants to have our students be successful, and this is a beautiful example of having success in our community come from our community. We want to make sure when our students think of Virginia Beach, they may go off to college outside of our city, but they want to come back and they want to contribute and help make us a better community. And the Rubin Company does that by partnering with our schools and ensuring that our students and the students coming up after them are learning the lessons that are so important to make our community successful.
Only then, 2022, did I start doing this work full time. I had been working for a chunk of that with my parents at our public relations agency, so many years off the side of my desk, building this up only after what was that first slide, 2011? 11 years of just working on this and kind of finding my way and learning who I am and where I apply my skills. 2022, it's been a full-time thing. Now with a team of 5 of us total.
But it's really important for young children to understand this because they have a long time. It does not happen overnight. You learn what you practice it, and that's how you learn to get better. You're going to make some mistakes. But the more you can be a team player, which is a big part of the communication as well, you'll get better. But I'm really glad for the Rubin Company are doing this for our schools, for our young people. It's very transformative in their lives.
I feel that I've grown in leadership for sure. In the classroom, I didn't really step up much to like be a team lead or to do anything for PDs. I was just kind of there getting the information. And this role has really just put me into more of a leadership role where I'm kind of the person that people come to if they need a question or they need something done. And I feel that I've kind of become that person for Danny as well. It's like just kind of the person he comes to when he needs things taken care of. And I feel very confident in my role. I enjoy doing trainings. I enjoy leading things. I enjoy answering people's questions because I feel very knowledgeable about what we do. So I feel like my confidence as a leader, like in the workplace, has definitely grown since joining the Rubin team.
I have worked like mad to be able to sustain myself doing exactly what I want to do, make the impact that I want to make, to help the people who are hurting, help the people who are stuck in cycles of poverty, cycles of whatever. What if one good email you help them write, one good interview, what if it could change everything for them? What if their life is different from that day on because I gave them the tools? I told you I'm a journalist first, so I tell stories. So let me tell you a story. I'm at a conference in Houston for students who participate in a group called HOSA, which is Health Occupations Student Group. If you've ever heard of a group called DECA or FBLA, a lot of people will have heard of those. They're like business clubs. This is for healthcare kids. Anyway, at my booth, hustling, working, and a teacher walks by who we work with a few students. They're from Palm Springs, California. And the student, they say, oh, we love your material and it's so helpful to us. And the student, this African-American young girl, she says, oh, yeah, you guys helped me win a scholarship. I said, oh, that's fantastic. She said, yeah, it was for $40,000. I said, excuse me? She just happened to walk by. And when I say I don't know the impact that I make all the time, but when I find out, well, my journalist antenna went, zoop, and I said, you're gonna be a profile on my company website. And a few months later, we did a redo of our website, and you best believe I called her up, did an interview in Zoom.
I remember something I had asked them was in particular to their UCLA experience, because I knew that they were alumni. And so I had asked them just about things they did during their undergrad that they felt helped them succeed throughout undergrad, and also just things that they did in terms of like the Black community that they felt really helped them increase access to education.
And when you asked these questions, what was their reaction? Did they seem like, wow, that I was impressive that she knew to ask about me, that she had looked me up? Do you remember how they kind of reacted to your questions?
I remember they were super excited after I asked the question, because obviously like people love to share their knowledge. And so just me having something to ask them and them being able to provide some insight to me, especially as an incoming freshman, they were super excited to give.
This job has given me kind of the balance that I've wanted in my life. Like I said, I felt very burnt out as a teacher. I'm a mom. So I wanted something that would allow me to continue helping people and being in education, but to also be with my family. Like I said, initially it was tough because I felt like it was a lot to learn on the front end, like making sure that I knew all of the pieces that I needed teachers to know ahead of time so that they were prepared to give things to students. But I honestly feel pretty comfortable in my role now.
Then I thought, maybe there's another product there too. Along the way, I have been doing interviews with professionals in different fields to gather up sort of long-form conversations about careers. We took the best moments from those careers, made it into another product called Aspire, which is a library of career exploration videos, very useful in middle school and high school.
I'm putting together all of the pieces of Aspire, and that was just a really cool project to be a part of. And I guess I was a little intimidated when he first brought it up, and he kind of wanted me to kind of take over that part. But I've really just grown to love it. It's such a cool resource, and it's had great success and a ton of interest. And so that's probably my best and biggest accomplishment with Rubin so far.
And now we have 3 products. The 2 that I told you about, the career exploration videos, the communication activities, and a tool for Gmail, a Chrome extension that teaches email etiquette. And we now bring all 3 products to market to work with school districts around the country.
Hey, I'm Danny from the Rubin team. We're here in Dallas, Texas, letting advisors and their students try our new Propel email etiquette tool. Let's see what they think.
It was very, very helpful.
It gave all the basic steps of how to write that email.
It gave me like more ideas of what to do and how I can help improve my writing.
Students are always bringing me their emails that they're writing to teachers, to coaches, to colleges. I teach grade levels 9 through 12. So all ages writing emails for different purposes, but they understand that it has to look good, but they don't know how to get there. This tool gets them there. I mean, I'm impressed.
My name's Gracie Elliott.
My name is Charlie Davis.
My name is Skylar Noel, and I like Propel.
And I like Propel.
And I like Propel.
We like Propel!
So what's next? Where do I want to take this? I want to keep growing in K-12 education, working on the homeschool market and delivering this product to the homeschool community. Workforce development has needs around career development. Corporate training is always sitting there. Correctional institutions, I've been approached several times, it hasn't happened yet, providing these resources to the prison system as people are leaving and looking for employment. And who knows what else is next? The fun part is I don't always know what's next.
That's the beauty of SaaS, is like, where else can I license out what I've made? Let's make not just a company that's in K-12, but a company that is like sort of multi-audience.
I'm just excited for the continued work that we're doing. We're branching out and we're trying to make partnerships. We're meeting more people. We can see from year to year that a lot of the schools that are sticking with us are seeing amazing improvements with their students in regard to communication. So it's just very evident that what we're doing is working for the schools that we are working with. And with starting these new partnerships and talking to more people, I'm excited for us to grow and to make our way into more schools and just to continue to think of new ideas. Like I said, we're constantly meeting with teachers and getting feedback. So I think we're just constantly growing and we're constantly improving. And it's cool to be a part of a company that's doing that. It's not staying stagnant. We're always trying to keep with the times and keep with what teachers and students need.
What do I want people to take away from this story? First of all, I want people to realize that the startup that they could create is already inside of them. The thing is, most of us don't scratch the surface or dig deep enough to really see how we can connect what makes us unique with a product or service that someone will pay for. Plenty of people start businesses off ideas that interest them, and that's fine too. I'm not knocking that. But I'm saying for me, this work has been brewing in me my whole life. And it took a long time to find ways to monetize it. So I want people to hear what I'm saying, that I think the purest entrepreneurship is to share with the world what makes you, you, but do it in a way that makes other people better. But it takes many years of introspection and working on yourself and honing your craft to discover that. And we all want to start that startup and be making money in 6 months. And it's never going to happen like that. And if it does happen in 6 months, then there was 15 years before that that led you to those 6 months. So I want people to say, if they are thinking about starting their own thing, the answer is yes. The answer is start yesterday. And the answer is do it for yourself, work hard at your craft by yourself, and keep bringing it to market. And let the audience tell you what they want and what they don't want. Let them guide you.
I hope that people will learn that it's okay to step out of something that's not benefiting you, even if you're unsure of what the future might hold. It's okay to take a break from something and to step out and to admit that something is just not working for you. I always thought that being a teacher and being in the classroom and kind of working my way up into like a school administration role was what I was going to do. Both my parents did it. So part of me just felt like that's just what I was supposed to do. And I got to the point where I was really miserable and just not happy in general. And I was very nervous to leave that role because that's what I went to school for. That's what I had done for 6+ years. But I did leave. And it led me to Rubin, and it led me to a job that I truly enjoy and a job that gives me the balance that I want as a working mom and as an educator and as a leader. Stepping out of something that was just not working for me really led me to something so much better. So I hope that people can learn that it's okay to step out of your comfort zone and not just stay somewhere where you feel comfortable or where you feel stuck, because there's definitely could be something way better on the other side.
Listen, we often think we can't do big stuff unless we live in the big cities. It's not true. I've been building my business from my kitchen table. I continue to do so. And I've been able to connect and sell to some of the largest cities in the country. They don't ask where I'm from, or even if they do, they think it's interesting. Virginia Beach, Norfolk, cool. They don't say, oh, you're not from New York, you're not from LA, you're not from Silicon Valley. They don't care. What matters is the product. What matters is your solution. What matters is how you help people go from point A to point B. You can do great things in Hampton Roads. We all can do great things in Hampton Roads. We need to do it together. We need to share resources and ideas. It helps to glean from big cities and bring ideas back home, if that's been your journey, but anything can happen from anywhere in our Zoom world. So remember that from where you sit, you can reach the country, you can reach the world. It takes time, it takes a lot of time. But if you believe in the mission, who cares how long it takes? You're here for it, and so am I.